What's going on, Yellow? Welcome back to another episode of the Juice Box presented by Edgeley. It's Whitey here today. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully everyone's having a good week and that you enjoyed Blast Bounty over the course of the last 10 or so days, especially over the weekend there where we cashed out on PARIVISION. Today we're going to be talking about IEM Krakow. Kicks off tomorrow. That's going to be January 28th. That goes through all the way until February the 4th. Or no, February the 8th, something like that. Let's actually look in real time. February the 8th. It's going to have $1 million prize pool. Starts off with 24 teams, so stage 1, or whatever they're calling it, is going to have the first 16 teams. 8 of those 16 will move on to stage 2. Then in stage 2, those 16 teams will be obviously competing for the championship there. Top team is going to take home $400,000. The 8 teams that have directly qualified to what I'm going to call stage 2 are Furia, Vitality, Falcons, Spirit, Na'Vi, Maus, FaZe Clan, and Mongols. And then the play-in teams, the teams that are going to be competing starting tomorrow in stage 1, are going to be Aurora, Bait, Legacy, G2, Liquid, 3D Max, Astralis, Paravision, Heroic, Pain Gaming, FUT, Ninjas in Pajamas, Passion UA, BC Game. We're going to get to see Simple back on LAN, Energy, and then GamerLegion. So this should be pretty exciting in terms of what the bracket looks like, or what the I guess style kind of looks like here. It's going to be a double elimination bracket. So once you lose twice, you're going home. Everyone starts obviously up here in the upper bracket. If you lose, you head down to the lower bracket. If you lose a second time, you're done. You have to keep winning here to qualify. So 8 teams out of these 16 are going to qualify. Those 8 teams are going to move onward here to the group stage and join either Group A or Group B to meet those 8 teams that we were talking about earlier just a moment ago, which again are going to be Furia, Mongols, Na'Vi, Spirit, Vitality, FaZe Clan, Maus, and Team Falcons. So overall, to kick off 2026, we had a pretty good Blast Bounty. In terms of results, obviously the majority of that came over the course of the weekend on PARIVISION. So in the grand final, it paid off pretty handsomely. We took PARIVISION on the money line. That was 2.5 times your money. 3 units paid 7.52 units, so we picked up 4.5 units there. And then I also took PARIVISION in our CS2 chat in our Discord there. PARIVISION minus 1.5 map spread in the best of 5. Obviously they swept, they won 3-0. I'm sure most of you know this by now. But that was 4 times your money. So 2 units there paid 8 units. We profited 6 units on the one on the left, 4.5 units on the one on the right. So that was a 10.5 unit day, which really saved us. So overall, in terms of results for Blast Bounty, we looked like this. So round of 32, 4 and 6 overall, we're down $7. Round of 16, 1 and 2 overall, we're down $239. Quarterfinal, we're 2 and 3, and we're down $314. Semifinals, 2 and 2, up $136, and then the grand final obviously really turned things around for us there. We're 2 and 0 overall. We're up 10.5 units roughly, $1,055. So overall, 11 and 15, up 6.31 units or $631. So a good start to the year there. Obviously, we want to keep things going here with IEM Krakow. So let's take a look at the schedule. This is going to be a style that I like a lot more. Instead of just having 1 game at a time, we get to have 2 at a time here. Everything's going to be best of 3. There's no best of 1s going on in here. And games are going to kick off if you're in Eastern time at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So the first 2 of the day are going to be Aurora and GamerLegion, and then Heroic and PARIVISION. Obviously, we just saw PARIVISION come off of that Blast Bounty win there. We just talked about it. At 7:30, these ones are kind of boring to me, but Astralis and Pain Gaming, and then Energy and Bait. At 10 o'clock, we're going to have Legacy and BC Game, so we get to watch Simple at 10 o'clock, and then FUT and 3D Max. And then at 12:30, we're going to have Liquid and Ninjas in Pajamas. Liquid's not going to have NAF for this one. They're going to have Crimbo, so a roster change or a stand-in rather going on there. And then we have G2 and Passion UA also at 12:30. So I crafted up a bunch of plays for this one. I got some tournament winners, some parlays, some singles. So we are going to hop on over to Thunderpick and let's see what we have on the board for tomorrow to kick us off here for IEM Krakow. For all of the odds discussed in today's video, we'll be using Thunderpick, our go-to book for CS2 betting. If you're not already using them, you're missing out. They've got the best odds on esports, instant deposits and withdrawals, and the interface is super clean, really easy to find the markets you're looking for. Plus, if you sign up with our link on your screen and in the description, tinyurl.com/LockCityTP, you'll get a 100% deposit match all the way up to $600. So if you deposit $600, you're playing with $1,200, and it's hard to beat that. The link's on your screen, scan the code, or click the link in the description down below. All right, so we're going to have 5 bets on the board here to kick us off. 2 are going to be tournament long winners, and then we're going to have 3 that are going to be going on obviously tomorrow in the round of 32 or upper bracket openers, whatever the hell they're being called here. So the first 2 are just going to be tournament winners. I'm going to be rocking with Spirit like I regularly do. The max that they let me put on this was just shy of 0.75 units, so I ended up going with that. And then I took PARIVISION. I don't know what happened here. Why my cash out is $67. 1 sec. Let's pull this up and let's see what's going on here. Okay, so I grabbed PARIVISION at 15 times your money like an hour ago, and now PARIVISION's down to 10 times your money. So it looks like they're giving me a nice little cash out here already. I put 50 bucks on it, or half a unit. They're already offering me $67, so that's kind of nice. I'm gonna ride it out just on a flyer, just in case they go back to back. I highly doubt that they do, but I'm gonna go with my top 2 favorite teams here to win the tournament. All right, in addition to that, we're going to be running 1 single, and then we're going to have 2 parlays, 2 two-leg parlays here up top. The first single that we're going to talk about is just going to be GamerLegion on the money line against Aurora. They're a nice underdog, 2.35 times your money. I just have a gut feeling about PARIVISION in this one. I don't like what we saw out of Aurora necessarily to kick the year off here. They look a little bit rocky. I'm not sure how I feel about Soulfly and how I feel about their consistency coming into this. Once they get a little bit better on like Anubis and they have like an Anubis Overpass Dust 2 kind of rotation here, I'm sure that'll feel better. I have no doubts that they win Dust 2 off of GamerLegion, so this is probably going to have to be a 3-mapper, or definitely going to have to be a 3-mapper. We're going to have to hope, or probably hope, that Overpass doesn't get drawn as the decider, because that would be difficult as well. I do think GamerLegion could win Mirage. I think they win Inferno. I think they win Nuke. I think they probably win Ancient. So I think they have the stronger map pool here. Again, the only thing that would probably screw us over is if we see both Dust 2 and Overpass, or like Dust 2 and Anubis drawn, and Aurora, is able to win both of those. I doubt that we see that happen in terms of recent matchup between these teams. We just saw them play each other 10 days ago. GamerLegion was able to win Mirage. They were able to win a very close Inferno, and then they lost Dust 2. This was honestly closer than I would have thought. I thought it was going to go something along the lines of what we saw on Halloween here, where it was 13-1 for Aurora. But nonetheless, we had a 13-10 scoreline in favor of Aurora on Dust 2. So if GamerLegion can keep it close, if they can learn from a couple mistakes there, they've known that this matchup is coming now for a couple of days. So they can probably go back, look at their reps on Mirage and make some adjustments here. So if they, or on Dust 2 and make some adjustments here. So if they're able to do that, if they can win Dust 2, then obviously I think they come away with this in flying colors. But my expectation is that they're going to lose Dust 2. Hopefully we don't see Anubis or Overpass, and then they can win 2 out of 3 on like Mirage, Inferno, Nuke, Ancient, one of those types of maps. So I'm going to be going GamerLegion on the money line here. I like GamerLegion. I think they win this. It's just going to be 1 unit. We're just going to go light on this one. 1 unit, 2.35 times your money is going to pay 2.35 units, roughly. And then we have 2 parlays going on over here. One's going to be pretty early to kick the morning off. That's going to be PARIVISION on the money line against Heroic. And then it's going to be Bait on the money line against Energy. So I'll pull these 2 up. PARIVISION, obviously you guys know, coming off of the Blast Bounty Championship. I've said that about 13 times now. 83% public consensus, that's good. I think we're getting pretty good value on the money line odds here. I know Heroic was able to surprise some people early on at Blast Bounty there. I think PARIVISION wins Dust 2. I think PARIVISION wins Mirage. I think they win Inferno. Nuke we're not going to see. They're going to ban it, which is good because Heroic, sometimes some freaky things happen on Nuke. And then I think PARIVISION would win Overpass if we see it. I think they win Ancient. I think they have a very strong map pool. They're in really strong form. Obviously, when they were going through at Blast Bounty there, through the playoffs, they played Spirit, Furia, and Falcons. So some of the top teams in the world, they went 3-0. They only dropped 1 map in doing so. So they won 7 maps and only dropped 1 to Spirit. But they 2-0'd Furia, they 3-0'd Falcons. They're looking really strong here. PARIVISION wins this. PARIVISION on the money line at 1 point, what did we grab it at? 1.42 times your money. And then parlayed with Bait on the money line. Bait's going up against NRG. I don't like NRG's form. I don't really like anything about NRG coming into this one. I know some people are high on OC, just nostalgia factor and kind of what this roster brings to the table in that capacity. But I don't think they win this. I know that on the Bait side of things, we have Segakawa playing with this roster coming into this. But overall, and I know the reps don't support it either, but overall, Bait's the better team here. It's NACS playing EUCS, and Bait's playing teams like Na'Vi, Pain, Vitality, Mouse. Mind you, they're not being overly competitive with some of these teams, but like they beat Falcons, they beat 3D Max. I know this is going back into last year, slightly different rosters, but it's a gritty team. They're going to be competitive here. NRG is playing teams like Marsborn, Voka, Phoenix, so on and so forth. I don't think this should be necessarily close. I think Bait wins this 2-0. I don't care what the map pool says here. We're going Bait on the money line. Those two, that's going to be a 2-unit play. So 2 units, 2.13 times your money. That's going to pay 4.26 units roughly. And then the last one here, that's going to be NiP and G2, again, both on the money line. So I'm taking NiP on the money line against Liquid, G2 on the money line against Passion UA. Both of these games are going to be at 12:30, so I'm skipping both of the 10 o'clocks. I'm honestly just going to sit back and watch Simple. Here, I think FUT probably wins. I think they could probably beat 3D Max. I think they're a good sleeper team in this tournament, at least to make it into the next stage. BC Game, I would love for them to win this. I think Legacy probably wins like 2-1 or 2-0 even. But I would love to see BC Game win this. So I'm just going to sit back and watch this one. And that's going to kind of encompass my 10 o'clock time slot here. But then at 12:30, Liquid and NiP, and then Passion UA and G2. Again, we're going to be taking NiP on the money line and G2 on the money line. The first one here, Liquid and NiP. So like I said toward the beginning of the video, Liquid is going to be playing with Crimbo here. They're not going to have NAF in the picture. May that be helpful for them? I'm not entirely sure, but it should mess up their consistency a little bit, at least in the first matchup at the very beginning of this tournament here. On the NiP side of things, I think they win Nuke. I don't think we'll see Overpass. I think Ancient could be close. I think that they'd be pretty competitive on Dust 2, Mirage. I think Inferno would be competitive as well. I have no idea what to expect if we see Anubis, so God help us if we see it there. But I think NiP is probably just in a little bit better form coming into this one. Obviously at Blast Bounty, we got to see these teams play just about 2 weeks or so ago. Very close. It went 3 maps. This one, Ancient needed overtime. Liquid won 16-13. But then NiP was able to take Mirage, and Nuke was pretty close as well, 13-10 all in all. So I think that NiP takes this one. I think they get their revenge here, especially with a stand-in on the Liquid side of things. So I'm taking NiP on the money line. And then Passion UA and G2. G2, 87% public consensus is crazy. But I agree, G2 wins this. Passion UA, I don't necessarily like what I've seen out of them. These teams in terms of head-to-head history, none of this is going to be relevant. It's different rosters. It's like toward the beginning of last year. Even the major one I wouldn't say is necessarily super relevant. Obviously we saw G2 win, which I guess is a good sign. But I do think that G2 probably just wipes Passion UA here. Like maybe Inferno is kind of close. But I always have to give G2 the edge on Inferno. And then maybe Passion UA has been boot camping like Anubis, and maybe they just throw that in, trying to get a map win, trying to throw G2 off a little bit there, or maybe like an overpass, because G2 hasn't been able to win an overpass yet, but I'm sure that's something that G2 has been working on their side of things as well. So I'm giving the edge to G2 here. I think it's probably 2-0, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if this one goes 2-1. And I'm going to be playing those two teams on the money line as well. So that one's going to be 2 units, 2.14 times your money, so slightly better odds than this one here on the right-hand side. And in this case, 2 units is going to pay 4.28 units. But again, these are going to be the 5 that I'm rocking with. 2 tournament winners, 1 solo moneyline single here, and then 2 two-leg parlays. Each of these ones are going to be 2 units. We're going to have 1 unit here on GamerLegion, and then down here just splitting up units. I got half a unit on PARIVISION for the tournament winner, and I have 0.75 units roughly on Team Spirit as a tournament winner as well. But I hope we get a good start to the tournament here. Blast Bounty was a little bit sketchy at the beginning, so I hope we kick things off a little bit stronger here for IEM Krakow. Looking forward to cashing out with all of y'all. If you're not in the Discord, of course, at the bottom of the screen here, discord.gg/LockCity. 100% free. Come cash out with us. We're talking about the picks all day long in there. And then, of course, we're going to be having the knife giveaway either later today or tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're joined up in the Discord, and look forward to giving that away to one of y'all. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Peace.